acknowledging and commemorating the suffering and death of thousands of women and children during the South African War of 1899 to 1902 is an important focal point in the activities of the War Museum in Bloemfontein, South Africa. This is, amongst other projects, evidenced by the erection of a Garden of Remembrance in recent years. This memorial displays the documented names of about 36,000 black and white women and children who died in concentration or internment camps during the war. Moreover, the museum also transcends the historical suffering of the South African War by raising awareness about the unacceptable high levels of violence against women and children currently being experienced in the country. This has been done in the recent past by presenting, for example, an international conference on the topic, linking the past and present suffering of South African women and children. On Friday, the 24th of November 2023, the War Museum again presented an event in support of the annual and worldwide awareness campaign related to 16 Days of Activism against gender-based violence. The event was attended by numerous invited guests and dignitaries, including Dr. Thelma John David, the Consulate General of India in South Africa. Danae Swanepoel from the museum acted as Program Director during the event. Toki Pretorius, Director of the War Museum, highlighted the repositioning of this heritage institution from a traditionally Afrikaner establishment to a museum for all the people of South Africa. He also introduced a video documentary titled Reclaiming Unity Once Denied, which showcases the process of strategically repositioning the museum, including its newfound emphasis on the suffering of both black and white women and children in the South African War. Thereafter, the keynote address of the event was presented by Advocate Charlie Naidu, who is a member of the Council of the Museum. In her address, Advocate Naidu shared her perspectives on gender-based violence within a South African context.
South Africa is known as the rape capital of the world. 1 out of 3 women in South Africa would have experienced gender-based violence. So the statistics are quite alarming. More needs to be done. I think there must be education, especially with men. It's not just about enacting new legislations, it's about finding a solution to the root causes of gender-based violence.
The program of the event likewise provided for the launch of 2 new books published by the museum. Dr. Garth Benneyworth, who is also the chairperson of the Museum Council, authored Work or Starve, which provides valuable insight into the unique experiences and suffering of black civilians in concentration, forced labour and military labour camps during the South African War. The book can be regarded as a groundbreaking example of how archival material can be augmented by oral history and particularly by archaeological research, and how this combination can contribute to a better understanding of events and historical sites related to the South African War.
It deals with specific case studies of specific camps, of specific groups of people at a specific time in history, and importantly looks at the archaeological record that myself and a friend uncovered, which is in fact the forensic evidence that they left behind. So it actually gave us a transdisciplinary or multidisciplinary approach into understanding these camps and what remains of their record, and in fact recovering what was in fact a very fractured past into the present and making sense and understanding of it.
Dr. Vicky Hearnes from the War Museum introduced the second new book of the museum, which focuses on South African prisoners of war. This book was published with funds made available by the National Lotteries Commission and is available in Afrikaans, English and Sesotho. The new book aims to provide background and context to the experiences of white as well as black POWs detained in South African and overseas POW camps. Furthermore, a scale model of the forced labour camp at Dryharts was also officially unveiled. Based on archaeological evidence unearthed, the model provides an authentic representation of living conditions in this camp. The director of the museum recently initiated the establishment of an art gallery in an area that used to be the entrance and foyer of the original museum building. Dr. Hearnes provided the attendees with a short overview of the curated art exhibitions currently on display in the gallery. Thereafter, the director conducted a ribbon-cutting ceremony to officially launch the latest addition to the facilities of the museum. Apart from contemporary works of art, paintings, sketches and sculpture by well-known artists from yesteryear, such as Frans Oeder, Eric Meyer and Anton van Vaux, can be viewed by visitors. Watercolour paintings by Emily Hobhouse showing the destruction of the war are also on display.
The War Museum has a special and dedicated art collection of about 500 artworks. In this special art gallery, the collection can be displayed according to subject or theme on a rotational basis according to a special curated exhibition.
The War Museum places a high premium on making its facilities accessible to disabled visitors. The latest initiative in this regard was the creation of a relief on the grounds of the museum to inform visually impaired visitors of their surroundings so that they can navigate their visit. The last item on the official program entailed a representative from the Society for the Blind in the Free State Province unveiling this relief. The War Museum expresses its appreciation toward the National Lotteries Commission, which also provided funds to make this project a reality. The event ended with a social gathering in the foyer, where guests and staff could interact informally. With this event, the War Museum not only demonstrated its role in keeping the history of the war alive for all South Africans, but also affirmed its commitment to addressing contemporary and burning issues in a present-day South Africa.